There comes a point in every person's life when we have to decide who we truly are, not who we say we are, but who we prove ourselves to be through our actions. That's the moment where "no excuses" stops being a catchy phrase and becomes a way of living. Excuses are comforting. They give us a story to tell when things don't go our way. They make failure easier to swallow and responsibility easier to avoid. But here's the truth. Every time we make an excuse, we trade our potential for comfort. We surrender our power to circumstances instead of using those very circumstances to grow stronger. Life will never be perfect. You'll never have the perfect timing, the perfect conditions, or the perfect plan. Waiting for perfection is just another excuse disguised as patience. The people who move forward, the ones who create impact, build legacies, and lead others, are not the ones with the best conditions. They're the ones who decide, no matter what, to move anyway. When you stop making excuses, something amazing happens. You stop blaming the world and start building within it. You stop seeing problems and start viewing them as teachers. You stop wishing things were easier and start wishing to become stronger. Every "I can't" can be turned into "I will figure it out." Every "it's not fair" can be turned into "I'll find a way." Every "it's too hard" can be turned into "it's worth it." The shift is not external, it's internal. It's a mindset that says, I take full ownership of my life. I'm responsible for my results, my growth, and my future. Excuses are subtle thieves of potential. They sound harmless, even reasonable, but behind every excuse lies an opportunity lost, a dream delayed, and a version of ourselves left unexplored. When we choose to make excuses, we're not just avoiding responsibility, we're protecting our comfort at the expense of our growth. We convince ourselves that circumstances are against, that timing isn't right, or that we're not ready yet. But the truth is, we're rarely waiting for the right time. We're avoiding the discomfort that comes with change, challenge. Comfort feels safe. It shields us from failure and criticism, but also shields us from progress. Growth, by its very nature, demands discomfort. It requires us to stretch beyond what we know, to face uncertainty, and to take risks without guarantees. Excuses give us a way out of that discomfort. They provide a story that sounds rational, something we can tell ourselves to feel okay about not trying. I'm too busy. It's too late. I don't have enough resources. Each one seems justifiable, but collectively they become the chains that keep us in the same place year after year. The painful irony is that excuses don't protect us from failure. They ensure it. Not the kind of failure that comes from trying and falling short, but the quiet, invisible failure of never having tried at all. We may not face embarrassment or rejection, but we face something far worse, a regret. Regret for the chances we didn't take, the ideas we didn't pursue, and the person we could become if we had only stepped beyond our comfort. Every excuse is a trade. We exchange a piece of our potential for temporary relief. We choose ease over effort, familiarity over possibility, and excuses excellence. And over time, those small trades add up. The person who consistently makes excuses becomes skilled at rationalizing mediocrity. They start to believe their own stories, that life really is unfair, that the odds are too great. In doing so, they surrender their power. They stop seeing themselves as capable of change and start seeing themselves as victims of circumstance. Breaking free from this pattern starts with awareness. It requires an honest look at the stories we tell ourselves and the patterns that hold us back. It means asking uncomfortable questions. Am I avoiding this because it's truly impossible or because it's inconvenient? Am I protecting my limits or just avoiding effort? When we start to answer truthfully, we realize that most excuses aren't barriers. They're fears in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move despite it. Choosing potential over comfort doesn't mean never resting or never feeling fear. It means refusing to let fear make our decisions. It means showing up even when the conditions aren't perfect. It means accepting that failure is a step forward, not a dead end. Those who choose potential understand that growth is messy and uncomfortable, but it's also deeply rewarding. Every time they push past an excuse, they strengthen their confidence and expand what they believe they're capable of. At the end of the day, excuses might make us feel safe, but they also make us small. Potential, on the other hand, asks us to risk discomfort for the sake of becoming more. It challenges us to trade short-term ease for long-term fulfillment. Life will always offer us reasons to wait, to stop, or to give up, but those who rise above the noise of excuses find something far more powerful: freedom. Freedom to create, to grow, and to live fully without limits. When we stop making excuses, we stop holding back the person we were always meant to be. Waiting for the perfect conditions is one of the most common traps that hold people back from reaching their potential. We tell ourselves we'll start when we have more time, when we have more money, when we feel more confident, or when the situation feels just right. But perfection is an illusion. It never arrives. There will always be something missing, something on something not quite ready. The truth is, progress doesn't come from waiting for everything to align. It comes from taking action despite the imperfections. Action creates movement, and movement creates clarity. When we act, we learn. We discover what works and what doesn't. We make mistakes, but those mistakes guide us toward improvement. Waiting, on the other hand, teaches us nothing. It keeps us in the realm of theory and imagination, where everything feels safe but nothing truly changes. The people who achieve great things are not those who waited for ideal circumstances. They are the ones who started with what they had and built their way forward. It's easy to convince ourselves that patience is wisdom when, in reality, it's fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty. We wait for the perfect moment because it feels like preparation, but most of the time, it's hesitation. The perfect time to begin is rarely comfortable. It's messy, unclear, and often inconvenient. But action has a power that waiting never will. It builds momentum. Once you begin, energy flows. You feel a sense of progress small, and that progress fuels motivation. When you act, you stop being a spectator of your own life and start being a participant. Even small steps matter because they move you closer to your goal. The first step doesn't need to be big, it just needs to be taken. A single step breaks the inertia of procrastination. Momentum doesn't come from confidence. Confidence comes from momentum. Every action you take reinforces the belief that you are capable, resourceful, and resilient. Life rarely unfolds according to plan. There will always be unexpected setbacks, distractions, and obstacles. But waiting for everything to be perfect is just another form of resistance. Those who wait for certainty will be waiting forever. The world rewards those who are willing to move forward despite uncertainty, who are brave enough to start when they don't have all the answers. Action, not perfection, is what builds mastery. Perfectionism often disguises itself as high standards, but in truth, it's often a shield for insecurity. It's the fear of not being good enough, of being criticized or misunderstood. But perfection is the enemy of progress. If you wait until you're ready, you'll miss countless opportunities for learning and growth. The most successful people understand that imperfection is part of the process. They refine as they go. They learn through doing, not by overthinking. Every great achievement began as an imperfect action. The greatest started in garages, not glass offices. The most inspiring leaders began making mistakes, learning and improving along the way. The lesson is clear. You don't have to be ready to begin, you become ready by beginning. Action builds resilience. It gives you feedback, forces you to adapt, and helps you grow stronger. Each step forward, no matter how uncertain, builds the foundation for the next. The conditions may never be perfect, but you can make progress in imperfect conditions. Waiting keeps you still, acting keeps you alive. So stop waiting for permission, for timing, for perfection. The right moment is not out there somewhere in the future. It's here in the decision you make right now. Start where you are with what you have and trust that every step will reveal the next. In the end, it's not perfect conditions that lead to success, but consistent, imperfect action taken with courage and conviction. Taking ownership of your life is one of the most liberating decisions you can ever make. It means accepting full responsibility for your actions, choices, and outcomes, without blaming others, circumstances, or luck. It's easy to point fingers when things go wrong, to believe that someone or something outside of us is the reason we aren't where we want to be. But the moment we do that, we hand away our power. Ownership, on the other hand, returns that power to us. It's the realization that no one else is coming to save us, and that our life is shaped not by what happens to us, but by how we respond to it. Freedom doesn't come from control, it comes from accountability. When we take ownership, we stop waiting for ideal conditions or perfect people to fix things for us. We stop living as victims of circumstance. Instead, we become creators of circumstance. We begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to take initiative, to learn, and to grow. Ownership transforms problems into possibilities. It changes our language from I can't to I will figure it out. A blame feels comfortable because it absolves us of responsibility, allows us to justify our lack of progress by shifting the weight to others. But blame also keeps us trapped. It builds resentment and helplessness. When we say, it's not my fault, we are also saying, it's not my power. By avoiding accountability, we avoid growth. Ownership is the opposite. It can be uncomfortable because it demands honesty. It asks us to confront our weaknesses, our poor choices, and our fears. But that discomfort is what ultimately makes us stronger. When you take ownership, you reclaim control over your direction. You stop waiting for things to change and start changing them yourself. This mindset doesn't mean everything will go perfectly. In fact, failure becomes part of the journey. But failure under ownership feels different. Instead of being defeated by it, you study it. You learn what went wrong, adjust, and move forward with more clarity. You realize that every experience, good or bad, holds lessons that help you grow into a better version of yourself. Ownership also builds confidence and trust. People who take responsibility naturally earn respect because they don't run from challenges or hide behind excuses. They stand by their actions, make amends when necessary, and find solutions instead of assigning blame. This kind of integrity creates strength, not only in one's character, but in relationships, careers, and leadership. People gravitate toward those who are accountable because ownership breeds reliability. Freedom comes from this sense of empowerment. When you take ownership, you're no longer limited by the past, by others' opinions, or by external events. You understand that you control how you think, act, and grow. This realization frees you from dependency and fear. It allows you to focus your energy on what you can influence instead of wasting it on what you can't. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, and the moment you begin to live with purpose. Ownership doesn't mean perfection, it means progress. It means you recognize that everything in your life is connected to your decisions and your effort. It's not about guilt or punishment, it's about empowerment. Each time you take responsibility, you build resilience. Each time you choose to act instead of complain, you strengthen your freedom. In the end, ownership is not a burden, it's a gift. It gives you the ability to shape your life on your own terms. You stop being a passenger and become the driver of your own journey. True freedom is not doing whatever you want. It's knowing that your choices and your actions are what create the life you want. And that begins the moment you decide to take full ownership of everything you are and everything you aspire to be. Challenges are often misunderstood as roadblocks meant to stop our progress, when in truth, they are some of life's greatest teachers. Every challenge we face carries a lesson, a message, and an opportunity for growth that we cannot find in comfort or ease. It's in moments of struggle that our true character is revealed and refined. When life tests us, it's not trying to punish us. It's trying to prepare us. It's shaping us into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than we were before. We often say we want growth, but growth never comes without friction. Just as muscles grow by tearing and rebuilding. Personal strength develops through facing adversity and choosing not to give up. Challenges stretch us beyond what we thought we could handle, forcing us to develop new skills, new ways of thinking, and deeper resilience. When we run from challenges, we rob ourselves of the very experiences that would make us more powerful. The people who achieve lasting success aren't those who had an easy path. They're the ones who learned how to turn pain into purpose and obstacles into lessons. Every difficulty holds a mirror up to our mindset. It reveals how we think, how we react, and what we truly believe about ourselves. When faced with adversity, we have a choice. We can see the challenge as an enemy or as a teacher. Those who see it as an enemy feel defeated before they even begin. They focus on the pain, the unfairness, or the inconvenience. But those who see it as a teacher understand that every obstacle is temporary and that within every struggle lies a seed of strength waiting to be discovered. Challenges teach us patience, humility, and adaptability. They remind us that we don't control everything, but we always control how we respond. When a plan falls apart, it teaches us flexibility. When people doubt us, it teaches us confidence. When we fail, it teaches us perseverance. These lessons are not found in easy times, they are the rewards of endurance. Every setback we survive adds another layer of wisdom to our character, another tool in our personal toolkit for the future. It's also through challenges that we build empathy. Experiencing hardship helps us understand the pain of others. It gives us perspective and depth. When you've walked through the storm and found your way back to the light, you become more compassionate, more grounded, and more capable of leading others through their own storms. Hardship can either make you bitter or make you better. The difference lies in how you choose to see it. When you approach challenges with curiosity instead of frustration, everything changes. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That small shift in mindset transforms the challenge from a burden into a blessing. It allows you to find meaning in struggle and struggle within setbacks. You start to see patterns, lessons, and growth that were invisible before. Life stops feeling like something that happens to you and starts feeling like something that happens for you. Every great story ever told includes moments of challenge, conflict, and doubt. Without them, there would be no transformation, no triumph. The same is true for you. Every challenge you face is part of your story, shaping the person you are becoming. If you avoid challenges, you avoid your own evolution. But when you embrace them, you open yourself to becoming more resilient, more creative, and more courageous. In the end, challenges are not barriers meant to block your path. They are stepping stones placed along your journey to elevate you. They are the hidden lessons that prepare you for what's next. The key is to stop seeing them as enemies and start seeing them as allies in your growth. Every challenge is a classroom, every hardship a teacher, and every struggle a chance to rise higher than before. Accountability is the foundation of integrity. It is the quiet strength that allows a person to stand tall in both success and failure, to own their actions fully without hiding behind excuses or blame. When you choose accountability, you choose honesty over comfort. You decide that your word matters, your actions have weight, and your character is built not by what you say, but by what you consistently do. Integrity isn't formed in moments of ease. It's tested in moments of difficulty when taking responsibility feels heavy but necessary. In a world where it's easy to shift blame or deflect criticism, accountability stands out as a mark of true leadership. It takes courage to say, "I was wrong," or "I could have done better." Most people avoid these words, but they make us vulnerable. But accountability isn't a weakness. It's a sign of strength and maturity. It shows that you are willing to face the truth about yourself and learn from it. When people know that you take ownership of your actions, they begin to trust you. Because integrity is built on trust, and trust is built on accountability. Accountability creates alignment between your values and your behavior. It means living in a way that reflects what you claim to stand for. Anyone can talk about honesty, dedication, or excellence, but accountability turns those ideals into reality. It ensures that your actions match your principles even when no one is watching. When you hold yourself accountable, you create internal consistency. You no longer rely on external validation because your integrity becomes your own source of pride and peace. The beauty of accountability is that it fosters growth. When you take responsibility for outcomes, both good and bad, you gain the power to improve. Blame, on the other hand, leaves you stuck. It keeps your focus on others instead of looking inward. The moment you say, "This is on me," you reclaim control of your progress. You begin to see mistakes as stepping stones instead of failures. Accountability shifts your mindset from defensiveness to development. You stop fearing judgment and start seeking growth. In relationships, accountability strengthens connection. When people know they can count on your word, they trust you more deeply. When you admit your mistakes instead of hiding them, you show humility. That humility builds respect. It's not perfection that inspires others. It's responsibility. The greatest leaders, teammates, and partners are not those who never falter, but those who take ownership when they do. They create cultures where honesty and growth thrive because accountability encourages transparency and continuous improvement. Accountability also guards against hypocrisy. It prevents the erosion of credibility that comes from saying one thing and doing another. Each time you avoid responsibility, your words lose power. Each time you take responsibility, your integrity strengthens. People remember actions more than promises, and accountability ensures that your actions speak truthfully. It keeps you grounded, reminding you that true character isn't built on reputation. It's built on consistency and honesty. To live accountably means embracing discomfort. It means facing your reflection without distortion and acknowledging where you've fallen short. But through that discomfort comes dignity. You earn your self-respect by confronting what's hard rather than hiding from it. Over time, accountability becomes a habit, a natural response that guides your decisions. It keeps you honest with yourself and others. It builds a sense of reliability that others can depend on and that you can depend on within yourself. Integrity isn't something you claim, it's something you prove through action. Accountability is how you prove it. Every time you own your choices, you reinforce your credibility. Every time you face the consequences of your actions with humility, you strengthen your moral core. And every time you hold yourself to a higher standard, you set an example that lifts others with you. In the end, accountability doesn't just build integrity. It turns words into truth and intention into trust. Success doesn't belong to the lucky, the gifted, or the privileged. Belongs to the relentless. It belongs to those who refuse to quit when the path gets steep, who keep moving forward even when the results don't come right away. Relentlessness is not about being fearless or never failing. It's about persistence in the face of fear and failure. It's the inner fire that drives a person to get back up one more time than they've fallen. Every dream worth chasing demands endurance, and only the relentless are willing to pay that price. The journey to success is rarely smooth. It's full of detours, disappointments, and dead ends. Many start with excitement, but only a few endure long enough to see their vision through. The difference between those who make it and those who don't always talent or opportunity. It's perseverance. The relentless understand that results take time. They know that every setback is temporary and that persistence always pays off if they stay committed. They are not discouraged by failure because they see it as part of the process, a stepping stone rather than a stop sign. Relentlessness is built on purpose. When you have a clear why, you find the strength to push through the how. People who are relentless are driven by something deeper than comfort or convenience. They are fueled by conviction, by a desire to create, to improve, to become more than they were yesterday. They wake up with determination and go to bed knowing they've given their best, regardless of the outcome. Their consistency compounds over time, turning small daily actions into extraordinary achievements. Being relentless doesn't mean never feeling tired, frustrated, or doubtful. It means not letting those emotions dictate your direction. It's the discipline to show up on the hard days when motivation has faded. It's the refusal to let excuses take control. The relentless understand that progress often feels invisible before it becomes visible. The effort that feels unnoticed today becomes the success story tomorrow. Each hour of unseen work, each decision to persist when no one is watching, builds a foundation that others mistake for overnight success. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has a story of relentless pursuit behind them. They faced rejection, failure, and countless reasons to give up, but they didn't. They adapted, learned, and kept going. What separates them from the rest isn't luck, it's resilience. Success is rarely about one grand moment of triumph. It's the accumulation of small victories earned by persistence over time. Relentlessness is what transforms potential into reality and dreams into tangible results. Relentless people are not attached to comfort, they are committed to growth. They understand that ease breeds stagnation while struggle builds strength. Every obstacle they encounter becomes an opportunity to sharpen their skills and deepen their resolve. They use adversity as fuel, knowing that the harder the challenge, the greater the reward. This mindset creates an unstoppable force. One that doesn't wait for motivation but relies on discipline, one that doesn't chase perfection but values progress. To be relentless is to trust the process even when you can't see the results yet. It's to believe that effort matters, that persistence has power, and that time rewards those who don't quit. It's not glamorous, and it's rarely easy, but it's always worth it. The relentless keep showing up, and in doing so, they outlast everyone who stops halfway. In the end, success is not a destination, it's a reflection of endurance. It belongs to those who keep moving forward when others have stopped. It belongs to those who choose resilience over resignation, purpose over excuses, and persistence over perfection. The relentless may stumble, they may fall, but they never stay down. They rise again and again until success has no choice but to belong to them.